with great things, with theories that if you have not capacitated yourself in terms of the understanding thereof, you miss out on how to understand life and society and business from a deeply embedded systemic point of view, and also how to go about change when you really want to manage and effect organizational and societal change, societal transformation, that which was spoken about by Rhoda today. So it is an enormous privilege to announce today our formal partnership. And the fact that these programs have now become part of our program household, our menu of opportunities and possibilities. And I would like Elizabeth to share with us in the next presentation what is on the menu and how you can become involved. And I don't want to go too deeply into her CV, and I know that she's anxious about time. The fact that there is a wine tasting ahead, I know that you will keep your patience and your calm with us, but I just want to say, basically, you are listening to, you're being addressed by somebody that we can, in the true sense of the word, call a futurist, a management educator, and a management consultant, but not your everyday consultant. Thanks, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Arnold. That was very kind. I have been associated with the University of Stellenbosch part-time and full-time for about 35 years. So it's a great honor for me to have my company, BiomatrixWeb, partnering with USP8 in launching and co-delivering the Biomatrix Organization Transformation Program and the Biomatrix Societal Transformation Program. Now, I would like to discuss the programs around the 4 questions. Why are the programs unique? Why are they needed? What are they about? And how are they being delivered? Why are the programs unique? I would like to use the analogy of stem cell research to outline that. I saw a very interesting documentary a couple of years ago which explained brainstem research, and the researcher said how they manipulate the stem cells into specific function tissues like heart cells. And they were very surprised how the heart cells grew in the petri dish, and they grew and grew and they nourished them, but what they didn't make is hearts. And then they came onto the idea to take an existing heart, decellularize it, take all the cells out, then one is left with a soft skeleton of connecting tissue, collagen and stuff like that. And when they started to grow heart cells in that skeleton, after a while they filled the heart and the heart started to pump. Management schools are petri dishes for growing managers. And they do that very effectively and very efficiently. We are also growing leaders. But what we are not growing is organizations and social systems, public systems, industries that are sustainable, serve their stakeholders, and are effective. Why is that so? Because I believe we do not have the skeletons. So what does Biomatrix programs bring to the table? I do believe that we bring the skeletons of connecting tissue in which what we are teaching in business schools can actually grow and give rise to a better, larger whole. And the skeleton of the organization transformation system looks like that. Of the societal transformation system looks like that. I'm going to discuss it a little bit later. And I also want to highlight that we have a theory, biomatrix system theory, which is another skeleton. Now, let me be even a bit more radical. Universities are petri dishes that grow disciplines. Unfortunately, life is one coherent, interconnected whole where the different disciplines are as one. And this is not what we are teaching at universities. There is no meta theory that actually contextualizes all the disciplines. And I'm proud to say that biometric system theory is that skeleton that we could use. I'm not saying it's the end all and begin all, there will be better things coming, but at the moment we can use it to deal with issues like sustainability, which cannot be handled in any single discipline. Sustainability is a transdisciplinary issue. And we need the connecting tissues to allow the different disciplines to give their unique contribution to solve our sustainability problems. And I'm very happy and very proud that the Center for Business and Society has declared biometric system theory as the official research paradigm for its sustainability issues. Why are the programs needed? Very quickly, because we need to dissolve systemic problems. We've heard a lot of them in Rhoda's wonderful talk, and we have heard some of them, like the communication problem in organizations and so on. They are typically systemic problems. Now, systemic problems are not the kind of problems we can solve like technical problems. When my car breaks down, I take it to the garage, they do some root cause analysis, find out what doesn't work, fix the part, and then the problem is solved. Unfortunately, systemic problems don't work like that. They cannot be solved. They arise out of the interaction of different systems. If I can give a very simple example, a marriage problem is co-produced by the different spouses, maybe the children, maybe some circumstantial issues, the in-laws, and so on. There is no root cause of a marriage crisis or a marriage problem. We need to get the different parts that give rise to the problems to change. Likewise, if I take an organizational problem, declining profitability maybe, there are many core factors why that happens to an organization. It could be marketing, it could be operations, it could be outdated goods and services, it could be a change in the marketplace, it could be a legal issue. All sorts of issues co-produce why an organization becomes less profitable. It's a problem that can't be solved. It can only be dissolved by having the different parts doing things differently. And then in society we have our classic emergent problems from the interaction of different systems, like our education problems, as we have heard, the finance crisis, climate change, poverty, pandemics, etc. We cannot solve them, we can only dissolve them. Another nasty thing about these systemic problems is that the logic of the problem is not the logic of the solution. If we understand why climate change came about, we don't know what to do about it. And my favorite quote here is that of the G20 in March 2009, after they said to discuss the finance crisis, where they said, we know what brought the finance crisis about, but we do not know what to do about it. So what did we do? Well, we threw a couple of trillions at the problem, which means we added nutrition to the petri dish of those organizations who gave rise to the problem in the first place. And what is the result? Well, they grow. Now we have more banks that are going into derivatives and so on, because it's such a lucrative business. Why else do we need the programs? Because we have to learn to optimize wholes. Now, what do I mean by that? Again, if I give a little example of a personal life, I have many different functions in my personal life. If I am optimizing one function, for example, my career, this is the end all and begin all of my life. What is the result? I'm likely to sub-optimize my family life, my social life, my nutrition life, my exercise regime. Everything goes down by the wayside because I optimize one part of me, and as a whole, I'm sub-optimizing other parts and ultimately myself.
Now we can illustrate what happens if we continue to grow one part at the expense of others, if we look at cancer as an analogy. The cancer grows and grows until its host, the body, dies. And the cancer, of course, dies with it. Our unsustainable economic development is like a cancer on the planet. In fact, our current economic paradigm, with its emphasis on financial growth, is a cancerous paradigm. It is a major cofactor in creating all manners of unsustainable outcomes. Now, Russell Ackoff, a famous system thinker, has pointed out that we need to emphasize development, not growth, if we want to create a sustainable world. Growth is mainly an increase in quantity. It's really a more of the same, while development involves an increase in qualitative value. It is something different, and it is an increase of value for different stakeholders. We can have increasing development without increasing growth. He also suggested that ideally our economic paradigm should promote multidimensional stakeholder development and not merely one-dimensional growth for shareholders. The multidimensional frameworks of the Biomatrix programs ensure that we optimize the larger whole, as well as developing the various parts or stakeholders in a balanced manner. The third reason why the programs are needed is that an ideal design of an organization or of a social system like an industry actually shows how that system could function differently. If we had done, for example, some ideal design of our finance system before we threw the trillions at it, we may have saved the taxpayers some money and also benefited other stakeholders besides the greedy banks. The simple truth is, if we cannot picture how a system can function differently, we cannot create it. Instead, we will remain the victims of the emergent circumstances of a current future.